Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be taking a look at the Transformers Legacy United Voyager class animated universe Optimus Prime. Let me know what you think of this figure in the comment section down below. Is it a pickup or a pass? Now let's take a look at the figure's packaging. So here we have the packaging. Starting at the very front, we have Transformers on the side. We have the Legacy United logo at the bottom of the box with Animated Universe Optimus Prime in white text with a white Optimus symbol. We have a really cool image or artwork shot of Optimus Prime in his Firetruck Alt Mode. We also do have an open wheel displaying the figure in the packaging. And if you do look at the top of the box, we have another Legacy United logo. And moving to the side of the box, we have two images or artwork shots of Optimus Prime. One more of a close-up of his head and chest, and one more of a wide shot with his axe weapon accessory. And if we do look at the back of the box, the figure transforms in 25 steps. There's a product shot of him and his robot, his alt mode, and we also do have the Transformers 40th anniversary logo. And as for the final side of the packaging, we have half of the Legacy United artwork. So if you do get another Voyager class figure from this Legacy United line, such as Thundertron, you can put both boxes together and complete the artwork. And that is pretty much it for the packaging. So let's now get into the review. So here we have Optimus Prime in his robot mode. Let's take a look at the details, starting at the very top with the head sculpt. I love how show accurate this head sculpt is, with the really nice bright blue for the face and the darker shade of blue for the helmet section, with the really cool antenna or earpieces on the sides of the head. And it's like those really cool silver panels or plates kind of overlapping on the rim or the edge of the face, with the really nice black and blue for the eyes. And I do like that really nice chin section there with the silver and the blue. And now making our way down to the middle section, the chest section of the figure, I do like how big and bulky it is, showing how really strong and intimidating Optimus Prime really is. I do like how angular, not very square, like there's actually a ton of really cool angles and shapes on there. I do like the small details like the floodlights and the windshield wipers. I actually did not notice the windshield wipers the first time around. I do like the glossy black for the front windscreen or window section there, with some really nice lights below done in yellow and silver and black. And now taking a look at the arms, really overall design-wise and sculpt-wise, they're pretty much the exact same thing. Really, the only difference is that Optimus symbol on this shoulder, which is not present on the other one. But quickly taking a look at it, I actually do quite like the very square, very big, chunky design they have. Kind of like the chest again, showing how strong and intimidating he is. And actually, one really cool detail, if you do look at kind of the outer portion of the arm, I do like all those little hidden details from the Firetruck Alt Mode, like the windows and the mirror. And I do like that silver and black striping on the side. And I think the hand sculpt is pretty cool. And now taking a look at the lower portion, kind of the waist and crotch, overall done in blue and yellow, looking pretty cool there. And we do have the front of the legs, overall pretty plain. I do know, of course, they were going to for that kind of cartoony look, which is fine and all, but maybe some silver or some black paint apps at the front of the legs would have done some good, because it is a bit boring there compared to the rest of the figure. But I do like the huge chunky Firetruck wheels on the outside and the inside of the legs. I think that looks really cool. And taking a look at that side profile there, overall just so impressive. Probably one of the cleanest Voyager class figures I've seen in quite a long time. Very impressed. No arm kibble, no leg kibble, no back kibble, nothing sticking out or getting in the way. And to further confirm that, here is the back of the figure. Of course, you can add the little light bar piece, which was one of the accessories that I'll cover in just a sec after the articulation, but that really doesn't bother me whatsoever. And if you don't like that light bar piece, as you can see, it is not present, so you can remove it. People were wondering that question when this figure was first revealed: is the light bar piece removable? Yes, it is. So if you do not like that a part of the figure only in the Firetruck mode, you can just put it in the bag and leave it off to the side. But here it is, the back, and yeah, just so clean. There is a few, kind of hollow gaps here and there. I expect most likely a third-party company will most likely make a filler kit, which I'm typically not that picky. I'm only really bothered when, there's huge empty gaps or like cable or anything, which is not present on this figure. And one other really cool thing, which you might not know, is there is no hollow head syndrome in the back of Optimus Prime's head. As you can see, they're fully filled in there, which is a really good sign. And now moving on to articulation, I have to say it's pretty good for a Voyager, almost at the leader class, or I would say approaching onto the commander class level. I have to say right now, I was not expecting to like this figure as much as I initially thought, but starting at the head, of course, the head can look up and down, it can tilt side to side, it can look left to right, the arms can move out and in, forward and back. There is a bicep rotation, a double jointed elbow bend. I think that's mostly due to transformation, but you still can use it for posability, so it actually has sort of a multi-function or multi-use for that hinge or articulation, which is really good. He does have a wrist rotation, and if you do move the arms out of the way, he does have a full functioning waist rotation, completely unhindered. The legs can kick forward, they can kick back, out to the side, and of course, there is some rotation at the top of the leg. There is a knee bend to a very good degree, way past 90, and that is not due to transformation. And of course, the foot, it can actually pivot down, mostly due to transformation. It can actually rock side to side. And let me just quickly straighten up the figure. So as I said before, really good articulation. Tolerances are overall pretty good. I guess if I were to be very, technical or critical, I think there's just a few panels that could be a bit more securely locked into place. There's no joints or hinges that are like loose enough to move on their own. It's just, I think the feet, as you can see, they can hinge down. That's mostly for transformation. That's actually a step in the transformation, which is fun and all, but sometimes the feet can actually kind of be a little wiggly or kind of loose. So if those are a bit more secure, that would be nice. And the back panel that you just saw a little bit earlier when I was taking a look at the back of the figure, it is for the most time secure, but when I'm actually picking up, when posing the figure, I can actually feel it kind of move around, and I do wonder sometimes, is it going to come loose over time? So there's just a few small little areas, not major ones, that could just be a tad bit tighter. But as for accessories, he does come with that light bar piece that I previously mentioned, which again, you can keep off to the side if you don't like it, but I actually do quite like this inclusion. There's the really nice transparent blue and red plastic mix with the clear and the red, and you can store this, I would say, pretty much one of two ways. You could store on the forearm if you want to have like a really cool sort of Firetruck police light on his forearm. What I typically do is put it on the back, actually, so there is that middle port right there, there is a post here and a tab there, and there is a corresponding slot, and that just aligns up into place like so. And there it is, nice and securely on the back. And if you're wondering about, because of course you can store the axe on the back, do you have to remove this to put the axe on there? No, you don't. There is actually a port there for the axe. So I actually really do like how Hasbro sort of thought several steps ahead. Like, what if someone wants to put the axe and the light bar piece both on the back? Well, you still can, which is a really nice option. But of course, moving on to the axe, which I actually personally prefer to put it in his hands. That's just my opinion. But here is the axe, which I have to say I'm so impressed with, because there's actually one really cool feature that I was completely unaware of when I first pre-ordered, and I actually changed it to somewhere who had it a bit early, and I still didn't know at the time because there wasn't that many reviews out. But when this was first revealed, a lot of people were thinking that maybe you could actually have, the axe extended or longer, like maybe there was several pieces or, pull pieces, kind of like the Gamer Edition Optimus. His axe, you can pretty much split it into, I think it's like 4 or 5 different pieces. You can make it shorter or longer. I thought this was going to be kind of the same similar situation or case, but it actually works differently. So if you do want it longer, you can have it like this, but you can actually fold up or kind of shoot up the handle, which I actually do like this mechanical feature. I think that's really cool, because I personally really don't like all those extra, handle pieces, because if you want it short like this, you're just going to be left with, with a ton of pull or little small pieces off to the side and have nothing to do with it. I prefer this shorter form. That's just my opinion anyway, but I love that really cool mechanical feature kind of function. So I hope if Hasbro's listening, they can continue that with future figures for Stu Series and Legacy United and beyond. But as for the details, I love that transparent blue, and I love how there's really cool sort of lines sort of like leaking through from this section here into the blade, like it's kind of glowing or flowing, and I love that silver. And there is actually a blastovic port, because if you don't know, several times in this series, when Optimus Prime would use it, it would actually sort of spit out fire because it would be moving so fast. If you want to recreate those scenes of him like slamming the ground or attacking Decepticons, you can attach one there. And since this is an axe, you can plug this into his hand, like so. And if you do want the extended version or the longer one, you can do that as well. I prefer the shorter one. I think that's just my opinion anyway. And you can, as I previously mentioned, you can store on the back. As you can see, there is multiple posts on both sides of the axe. But that is pretty much it for accessories. Starting off our robot mode comparisons, here we have animated Optimus Prime compared alongside animated Prowl and Bumblebee. And let me know in the comments of all the modern day animated figures released so far, which one is your favorite? And now for one final comparison, here we have animated Optimus Prime compared alongside the Beast Wars Leader Class Tigerhawk, and his separate review is coming very soon on the channel. And that is pretty much it for comparisons, so let's now get down to transformation. So now for transformation, what you want to do is grab the arm and hinge it out like so. You can then fold out this panel that's on the inside of the form like that. You can then grab the hand, fold it up inside that compartment and close it up, and that will just soft click into place. So you can then bring the arm down, and you can repeat all the same steps I just showed you with the other arm. So just bring this out, fold out that panel that's on the inside of the form, fold the hand up, and that will just fold up and soft click into place. And there is a tab on the form, there is a slot on the shoulder, and you're going to use that double jointed elbow bend from the articulation, and that will just click into place. Same with the other side, that will just soft click into place. And the arms and the shoulders should look something like this. You can then grab that shoulder swivel or that mushroom peg and rotate this entire section back. Same with the other one. Rotate this entire section back, and then you can just slightly angle these or kind of tilt them angled out like that. You can then grab the entire chest on this hinge and just drop that down. How this is tabbed in place is there's a slot right there and a tab right there, and you can go to the back, grab this entire back panel, just like, of course, the chest panel, just bring this out and, of course, up. And how this is tabbed into place is there is two tabs right there and slots on the inside of that panel. We can then go back to the front, just make sure this entire chest panel is moved out. It really doesn't matter where, you just want it out of the way. You're going to grab these small little kind of wheel panels or kind of torso pieces on the side. You're going to fold these out on both sides, and how they were tabbed into place is there is a tab on each side of the torso or chest, and there's a slot on the inside of that panel. You can then grab pretty much the entire top half of the figure and hinge that up. And if you're wondering how that works, like how can you hinge up this entire section, there is actually that huge joint or post inside there, as you can see, that blue section. Then what you can do is grab this entire gray piece and you're just going to hinge this up, hinge this up. You can then grab the entire arm, or what used to be the arm. You're going to fold this in. You can then grab this wheel piece, fold that down. There is a tab on, of course, what used to be the arm and a slot on the inside of that section, and that will just tab into place. And if you're a bit confused, I'm going to repeat those steps on this side too. So just straighten up what used to be the arm and shoulder, fold this wheel piece down. There's a tab right there and a slot on the inside of that wheel panel that will just tab into place like so. There we go, very secure connection, and just angle those in nice and straight. You can then grab the entire chest piece using that same connection from before, plus all these other slots. As you can see, there's a ton of slots and tabs and connections, so all that will just connect nice and securely into place. Unfortunately, in my copy, it does take quite a while to get all those crevices and gaps filled in, so I do apologize if there's a few areas that don't look, the prettiest. I'll actually probably straighten it up off cam once I'm done transforming the figure. But what you can do is then, of course, grab what used to be the back panel. This will actually form the roof of the firefighter truck, and that will just go on top. So there pretty much we have the entire front half of the truck all done. And then what you're going to do is actually using that same hinge from before, of course, how you actually move the torso up. This is actually kind of the back view of it. You can grab the entire chest and bottom half of the figure and rotate that around. And then what you're going to do is grab the foot, drop this entire section down. Same with the other one. and then you can untab the side of the leg. So just untab this entire section here. As you can see, there's a slot and there is a tab pretty much where the knee is, and you're just going to fold that out and down. You can do the same thing with the pretty much inside portion of the leg, untab that too, and that same tab and slot connection, and just make sure all of this is kind of straightened out in this configuration. You can do the same thing with the other side, so untab that leg portion, the same one with the inside, and just straighten all of that up and make sure the foot is down. So now what you can do is fold this up. There is a tab right there, and there is a slot on the inside of what used to be the leg, and that will just line up and tab into place. Same with the other side. As you can see, there is a tab on this side of the leg and a slot on the other one, and that will just tab the legs and knees together. You can then grab the foot, use that double hinge. There is 2 posts and 2 ports, and that will just fold up and tab into place. Same with the other side. And now all you have to do is pretty much tab the back half of the truck. In the front half, there is 2 tabs here and 2 slots, and not these inner ones, these more outer ones. And you're just going to tab all of that into place. And that is pretty much it for transformation. Let's now take a look at the details. So here we have animated Optimus Prime in his Firetruck Alt Mode. Let's take a look at the details. Starting at the very front, I do like how this entire front section here is very square and boxy-like, very accurate to the animated series, and I do love the glossy black and red paint apps for the windows and this entire front section here with a really cool light bar piece at the top done in red and blue. And of course, we actually have these really cool kind of triangular sections sticking out the front. Of course, you do have the headlights done in silver and yellow. We actually have some really cool floodlights sculpted in at the top. They're mostly done in red plastic. I think it would have been nice if there was a bit of silver or maybe like some yellow to actually act as the light, because as is, they're a bit bare and boring. But if we do look at the side, of course, we do have the door done in silver and black with a small little mirror and window sculpted in. And if we do look at this back section here, probably my least favorite area or part of this alt mode, because it definitely is inaccurate to the series. It's not the worst back of the truck I've ever seen. I do think the 102 Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime is way worse than this. It's just I think they probably could have found a better place to actually put the feet. Like maybe they could have found a way to like store inside the legs, because there is a few hollow gaps in areas underneath here. I just think they probably could have done better and more, but overall not too bad. And I do love the very big beefy wheels done that nice glossy black. I think the figure overall rolls pretty well across the surface. I'm actually unsure of what kind of wheel this is. I think they might be mushroom peg, but I'm not 100% certain. But that is it for the details. So as for accessory storage, I actually already do have one of them on there because it does play a pretty pivotal role in this truck mode. The light bar piece, you can store that on top. And if you want the truck to look a bit more simple and plain, not like an actual fire truck, you can just remove that and put that off to the side. But as for the actual axe weapon, there is quite a few mech-tech ports. As you can see, there's actually some on the wheels, there's some on the doors, there's one on top. But how the instructions show is you actually do want to use this clear post right here. And you're going to use this port right there, pretty much the bottom of the foot, and you can just plug that into place like so. And there is the accessory storage. Not the best, but I can cut some slack because of course it's a truck and it's a massive axe. There's really not that many places to put a weapon that large and of that weird shape for it to actually look good. But that is pretty much it for accessories. Starting off our alt mode comparisons, here we have animated Optimus Prime compared alongside animated Prowl and animated Bumblebee. And I think these are 3 really good modern recreations of some classic old Transformers designs. And now that I have Prowl, Bumblebee, and Optimus, all we'll need is Bulkhead and Ratchet to complete the entire Season 1 Autobot cast of the Transformers animated series. Now for some rapid fire comparisons, here we have animated Optimus Prime compared alongside the Armorizer Boulder Crash. Here we have animated Optimus Prime compared alongside the Rescue Bot Chase. And since it's the holiday season, here we have animated Optimus Prime compared alongside the Holiday Optimus Prime. Here we have animated Optimus Prime compared alongside the Armorizer Magnus. And now for one final comparison, here we have animated Optimus Prime compared alongside the other Voyager from Legacy United Wave 1, that being the Prime Universe Thundertron. And that is pretty much it for comparisons. Let's now get down to reverse transformation. So now for reverse transmission, what you're going to do is grab all the accessories and take them off to the side. You can then grab the fire truck or figure and just go to the very back of the fire truck. You're going to untab the feet from the trailer hitch section of the fire truck. So there is 2 ports and 2 posts. Same connection and process with the other one, just hinge that entire section out. You can then disconnect the entire fire truck front section from the legs or the trailer hitch section. And how this is tabbed into place is there is 2 tabs at this top section or waist section, and there is corresponding slots on this section right here. And then you can grab the entire side panel. It's actually very securely tabbed into place. Just grab that entire section, hinge it out. I do apologize for the sudden jolt. It's just a super tight tab, so it can kind of jolt on you sometimes, but same with the other one. Just slowly loosen that, and again, it might sometimes jolt. And if they haven't already, actually separate or remove the legs from each other. So there's a tab there and a slot right there. You can then grab the leg. There is a tab and slot that's just going to tab into place like that. And then you can grab this outer portion, and that's just going to hinge in as well. There is a slot right there and a tab right there that will just hinge up and tab into place. You can then fold up the foot like that, and then repeat the same process with the other one. So tab this side of the leg into place like so, and then repeat the same process with the other one. Just hinge this up, tab that into place as well, and then you can fold up the foot like so. And then what you can do is actually drop this entire section down. There's this huge hinge, and you're going to rotate pretty much at the chest or torso all the way around like so. We can actually now focus on this entire front section. It's going to be a bit awkward of how I hold it, but you're going to grab this entire front panel here and hinge this out. And how all this is tabbed into place, as you can see, there's a ton of slots on this front section here and a ton of tabs on the inside of this panel. You can actually do the same thing with this top panel here. Just grab this entire section and hinge it out. You can then untab the arm from this panel here. As you can see, there is a tab there and a slot on the inside of that panel, and then you can swing it around and do the same process with the other one. You can then actually untab the entire forearm from the shoulder. There is a tab there and a slot right there, and repeat the same process with the other one. Just fold that out. And then what you can do is grab the shoulders, and those will just kind of straighten out like so. And then you can pretty much reattach the chest. As you can see, there is 2 tabs on the torso and slots on the inside right there. And that will just tab back into place. And let me just quickly straighten up the camera. As you can see, a bit odd right now, but then you can rotate at the shoulder all the way around. Same with the other one, just rotate at the shoulder all the way around. And then what you can do is go to the back. There is small little tabs on pretty much this side of the torso, same with the other one, that are just going to align into some slots on the inside of these wheel panels. And those will just tab into place. And then you can grab this entire backpack section. There is 2 tabs there and slots on the inside of this panel. And that will just tab into place nice and securely. And then you can grab this entire front chest panel here and also tab that in. Just press that down. Unfortunately, my copy, it sometimes doesn't fully want to kind of compress. So if there's a bit of a gap, that's the reason why. And then you can open up the entire form, grab the hand, fold that out, close that up. And then same with the other one, just open up the form, grab the hand, fold that out, close that up. And let me just quickly straighten up the figure. And that is it for reverse transmission. Let's now get down to the final thoughts. Now for my final thoughts on the Transformers Legacy United Voyager class animated universe Optimus Prime. Starting as Robot Mode, I think Hasbro did a great job taking Optimus Prime's animated show design and recreating it into toy form. I like the very boxy and square shape of the figure with the glossy black and red paint apps. As for accessories, Optimus Prime includes 1 light bar piece that can attach onto the figure's back. Also included is his signature Transformers animated axe, which is very well detailed and sculpted, and I love the bright transparent blue for the blade of the axe. And an awesome feature this axe has is that you can extend the handle so Optimus Prime can hold the axe with both of his hands. Articulation is really good for a Voyager class, but I do have one problem with the tolerances. It's that the back panel on the back of the figure has a tendency to come untapped. Transformation is complex and involving, but once you get used to it, you can transform the figure very quickly. As for Optimus Prime's Firetruck Alt Mode, I think it looks great and very show accurate. My one problem is the back of the truck. It has quite a few panels and holes, so I wish it was more compact and clean. What do you think of this figure? Let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I will see you next time.